What's up? Welcome to Off the Turf with Ragin' Cajun Baseball. I'm your host, Greg Larnard. In these videos, we're going to get to know the Ragin' Cajun Baseball team a little bit on the field and off the field. Let's meet our first guest. Senior outfielder Brennan Breaux. What's up, man? Thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Greg.
No doubt. All right, so we're in the batter's box here. A lot of the times last year, and forgive me if I misremember because I just turned 30. I'm a little bit older now. You let off a lot last year.
Let off
a decent amount.
Yeah, a decent amount, handful of games. Yeah.
Do you like leading off, or where would you rather hit in the lineup? Where's your favorite spot to hit in the lineup?
I do like leading off. You know, I like seeing a lot of pitches. I feel comfortable seeing pitches. I don't feel uncomfortable being like a two-strike account, which is a leadoff guy.
Yeah.
You know, you're supposed to see as many pitches as you can to kind of set the tone for those guys in there.
I was just going to say, setting the tone for the rest of the lineup. And I don't know if that's something you talked to a lot with Daniel LaHare. He's a guy I'd love to see lead off the last couple of years for this team. He really had that aggressive attacking style approach. Do you have that kind of same approach when you get into the batter's box?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like you have to be aggressive. I mean, anything other than that, I think it puts you at a disadvantage. So yeah, I try to be as aggressive as possible, but just try to look for my pitch at the same time.
All right, let's talk about your stance. You're in the batter's box here. Coach Deg's down at third baseline. Is he coaching third base?
He is.
Okay, so he's coaching third base. Intense guys giving you the signs. I'm assuming he's just going to be like, man, get out there and attack, go compete. So you step in the batter's box. Show me what your stance looks like.
So stance, I try to get towards the back of the box. Don't quite get on the line right there. I don't like to crowd the plate a whole lot. Kind of get my feet set up. Kind of put a little bit of weight on my backside, open the toe a little bit, and I kind of got a weird little like,
hand movement.
Craig Counsell looking thing up here at the top. You know, so that's kind of how it looks up in the box. And then I'm just getting my rhythm, and then trying to sync up with the pitcher.
Now, do you have a big leg kick, or you're a big leg kick guy?
I do. Yeah,
I thought you did.
So it's more like this. Mm-hmm. You know, like when I decide to go.
So how did you develop the big leg kick? Because, you know, from teaching baseball a lot, that's something that not a lot of coaches preach. They don't like the kids that have that big leg kick. Why does that work for you?
The coach is notorious for guys with leg kicks. I mean, you look at the guys from like the 2014 team, and you can pretty much go down the list, and a lot of those guys had it. I think that's just how he teaches. Mm-hmm. You know, it's a great timing mechanism, but at the same time, you got to do it enough to feel comfortable with it. And when I was here, I experimented with it previously, but he just kind of set it in stone for me, and it really made me feel comfortable doing it.
So is there any guys in maybe Major League Baseball that you watched growing up that you kind of modeled your swing after? I know you mentioned Craig Counsell with the hands high or anything like that, but is there anybody that you kind of modeled your stance after? Or you watched growing up maybe?
I really liked, growing up, like Robinson Cano. From the other side of the batter's box, Craig Biggio was my favorite player growing up. I was a big Astros fan growing up, so Craig Biggio was my favorite player. Obviously, it doesn't translate a whole lot to the lefty side, but Robinson Cano was a really big guy for me. Lance Berkman, those guys, like I said, big Astros fans. So those guys,
Still an Astros fan?
Yes.
So when you get into the batter's box, give me what's going through your mind. I know there's different situations with different guys on base and stuff like that, but when Brennan Breaux gets in the box, what are you thinking about facing that guy, you know, 60 feet, 6 inches away?
I'm thinking about, first off, getting a good pitch to hit. So I'm looking for anything over the fat part of the white plate right here. So, you know, depending on the counts or how the game's going, what that pitcher likes to throw, those kind of all, you know, go into your scouting report and go into your approach facing that guy. At the same time, I'm looking to go from scoreboard to the right center field gap. I don't try to go any further than that. Gives me a little bit more room for error.
That's right. If maybe you get out in front a little bit more, you'll have that room down the line to work with.
Exactly. But my target's try to hit it up the middle every time.
Cool. All right, man, let's head on out to center field where you do a lot of your patrolling out there, and we'll talk a little bit about that.
Sounds good.
All right, so we're out here in center field with Brennan Breaux. Obviously, this is your territory. This is where you roam out here. You got the brand new fence going in right now with the padded wall, and it's going to be exciting out here at the Teague this season. So what do you enjoy most about playing center field?
Playing center field, I think it's something that shows up every day. I mean, obviously, the best hitters in the world hit 3 out of 10 times. I think playing defense, I mean, this plays every day, you know, and the best teams in the world play really, really good defense, and that's what I take pride in.
So when you're out here in center field, do you find it, well, let me ask you this. Have you played the corners before?
I have.
So what do you find more difficult, playing the corners or playing center field?
I find playing the corners a lot more difficult. I feel like the reaction time's not as good as if you play center field. I feel like in center field, you get to see everything develop, and you get that extra split second just to make a better reaction. In the corners, man, if they turn on the ball or whatever, it's right on you, and you don't have that much time. So it's a split second decision where you just got to react to it. But
yeah.
Center field's my comfort zone, man.
Yeah.
I love being out here.
Okay, what's the communication like with the guys in left and center field or right field that you guys have in terms of positioning? Does that all come from the dugout, or do you kind of the leader out here and kind of getting guys with your scouting report and things like that in the right spot?
Yeah, so some of that comes from the dugout. If coach sees something that we don't see from out here, and he sees it from the dugout, he'll kind of position us a certain way. Most of the time, if I'll see something, or if I feel like he's susceptible to do this in like a certain count or whatever, we'll kind of switch it over. In the scouting reports, what kind of hitter he is, what kind of pitches he likes to hit, this, that, and the other. We'll kind of manipulate our positioning based on the guys that come up, where they are in the lineup. There's a couple factors that goes into it: the wind, the sun, everything that a lot of people don't think that plays a factor, and where we position ourselves, it plays a big part. Yeah,
Huge.
It plays a big part.
When you're out here, what's your approach? Are you a guy that likes to play shallow and go back on the ball, or a guy that likes to play a little deeper and come in on the ball?
It's always easier, coming in than going back. A lot of us have done it a long enough time to where we feel pretty comfortable doing both. But at the same time, it's always easier coming in than it is going back. So play a little bit deeper, especially in college. You got a bunch of big, strong dudes, and they can put it out here. They can do some damage. So we're not extremely shallow. We play a little bit on the deeper side, just for that fact that it's easier to come in than it is to go out.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so let's talk a little bit about, this is your senior season. Does it feel weird to say it's your senior season?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, right.
You're
the old guy now in the room and on the team and whatnot. This is only your second year here, but what's your anticipation for this opening weekend like?
And I think it's going to be really cool. I think it's going to be super emotional, obviously, with all the ceremonies and stuff and going on with Coach, and the fans here that have loved Coach and that have supported Coach in this program for so many years. So it's going to be definitely emotional, but at the same time, it's opening weekend. We got games to play, and the boys are really, really excited to be out here.
Yeah, I mean, when you guys were out there for Media Day, you were all hyped up about getting an opportunity to play 70 games this year and getting to Omaha, and I love that mentality, man. Talk to me about your preparation for a game. What is it like game day for Brennan Breaux?
Game day for Brennan Breaux, it's pretty much, business as usual. We come out here, like we practice and we do the early work, and we got our little, things that we try to get done maybe before games. For everybody gets ready a little bit differently.
That's why I want to ask about you. How do you get ready differently from somebody else? Are you a music guy? Do you come out here long toss before games? What's the preparation process?
So I come in here and basically just try to spend time with all the guys as much as possible. Keep it loose in the clubhouse. Keep it loose in the locker room. And then, once we get here, there's only a certain amount of time before we all kind of are on the same routine anyway.
Yeah.
So when I get here, I just kind of try to come in and stay loose with the guys, have fun, keep the mood light.
Somebody that was really influential in your baseball life, is there anybody that kind of really comes to mind for you?
I think it's my grandparents. And it's not so much baseball oriented, but it's basically like the how you approach everything, life included. They taught me really, really valuable life lessons that apply to baseball, but apply bigger than baseball also. Yeah. And so they were huge in inspiration for me for as long as I can remember.
What about somebody that, or some time in your baseball career, because as a former player myself, I know that there's many adversities, there's slumps, there's struggles. When was the time that you had to go through some adversity, and how did you push through?
Man, my first 2 years of college. I was at LSU at the time. And obviously, when coming out of high school, most of the guys that play in college baseball are the best guys on their team, best guys in their city, and sometimes even the best players in their state. And so, if you don't play right away, it's a big shock. You're so used to playing for forever. And so that was a big adjustment for me, a big learning curve for me. But at the same time, I was blessed to play with so many really, really good baseball players and be around so many really, really good baseball players that, although it wasn't ideal what I wanted, because obviously you want to play, you get to sit back and you get to learn from those guys, and you get to learn from the coaches that you played under. And a lot of those guys are well on their ways to playing, Major League Baseball. And so that experience for me was invaluable. You know, obviously it's not ideal because, like I said, you want to play.
Of course.
But the learning curve and the learning experience that I got from those guys, man, it's invaluable.
And that's a great attitude to have. A lot of guys not playing might have sulked, might have hung their head, but you got to stay positive. You got to learn. You got to sit back and work while you wait, as Coach Robe always said, right?
That's exactly right.
Let's talk about your favorite baseball memory that you can remember.
Favorite baseball memory that I can remember.
Is there a game that stands out for you that was, man, I had a career day that day?
You know, I think the McNeese game last year was a big baseball memory for me, especially with all the work that I put in. You know, it was my 4th year at the time.
Yeah.
Going to college, I'm a 5th year senior now. So last year was my first year playing. It was my fourth year. You know, and I put in the work, and I put in hard work. You know, up until that point. And then we play McNeese on a I think a Tuesday or Wednesday night game, and it's a knockdown, drag-out game. We were 16 runs scored almost on both sides, and I was like 3 for 6 with a home run and like 5 or 6 RBIs or something like that. And then so that was like a super validation game for me, where it's like, okay, starting to pay off.
It's like Brennan Breaux' coming out moment. It's like, all right, I'm here. I'm going to be in this lineup, but I'm going to be playing Centerfield for the next couple of years.
Exactly. And then so after the game, Coach Robe came up to me and was like, all right, you know, it only gives you an excuse to work harder. You know, so that was a super cool moment for me, where it's like you have that self-validation, but then he comes and is like, hey, you're not done yet.
Yeah, that's a great sentiment. All right, before we get to our tip for the kids, I was talking to one of your teammates, and he said I have to ask about a Christmas present that you got.
Christmas present. I had to skip the Christmas party this year. I had class. So I didn't get to make the Christmas. That's probably the joke that they were all rubbing it in my face that I couldn't go to the party. But
that stinks.
I know, man. Getting my master's degree right now, and so
smart man.
The classes are at night, so I'm kind of limited when they have the team parties and stuff like that. Yeah. Unfortunately.
All right, let's do a little Junior Cajun Corner. A tip for the kids, Brendan. Give me something that you want the kids out there to know around this area who love the game of baseball. Something valuable for them to know.
And for me, it's kind of what I've been through my whole college career. It's, you know, don't be afraid of hard work. You know, it's not if, it's when you're going to get knocked down in this game, and then it's just a matter of how you respond and how much you want to put the work in for it. There's no substitute for hard work. Anything worthwhile that you want to achieve it's going to come with some hard work. And so if I can give you any advice, man, just don't be afraid of working hard, getting your nose dirty, and your hands dirty, and getting after it.
That's right, working hard, folks. Working hard, kids. Get out there and put in the work. It's not good enough to do it just once a week at practice, twice a week at practice, or the game. Go out there and work hard yourself. Brennan Breaux, senior outfielder for the Raging Cajuns, man. Thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.